Hello, Super Sleuths. I'm Gumshu, and I'll be your deck detective. Deck Detective is a series in which every week I play and discuss a new deck. This week we're covering Punk Therion, a deck that allows us to finally rejoice the arrival of Deernote. Punk is an archetype of level 3, 5, 8, and 11 monsters that are really good at making level 8 and level 11 synchros, which for a reason we'll get to, is perfect to pair with Therions, one of the Albaz lore archetypes that feature different types of fighters to compete for sport in the Therion Disc Coliseum. We showed ABC Therion in a previous video, but that deck was only centered around Regulus, which is great synergy in machine strategies. This deck shows the true potential of the Therion archetype as a series of powerful, versatile monsters with big bodies to push through opposing boards. Enough chit-chat, it's deck list time. Here's the list, and here's a fun fact. This is the first time a list is over 40 cards on this show. Sorry about that, but there's not anything I really want to cut here, and the Punk engine has a lot of starters and a couple cards you'd rather not see in your opening hand, so it works out. So first off are the Punk cards. 3 Noah Punk Zeaman, you can pay 600 life points, and most Punk abilities have this paying 600 life points theme. Add 1 Punk monster from your deck to your hand except itself. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target 1 Punk monster you control against 600 attack. So this is a 3 of, an amazing normal summon, it's an E-tally target, and starts your whole Punk engine. Very nice. 1 Noah Punk Deernote. Thank God this card is finally in Master Duel. You can reveal 1 other Punk monster in your hand, special summon either the revealed monster or this card, and send the other to the graveyard. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can target 1 Punk monster in your graveyard except a level 5 monster, special summon it. But you cannot special summon Noah Punk Deernote for the rest of the turn. You can only use each effect for the rest. You can only use each effect once per turn. So this is a level 5, really good for using with a level 3 tuner to make a Synchro 8, and then with this you can summon back a level 3 for a Synchro 11 or a level 8 for a rank 8. Very good card, makes the whole engine work. Awesome stuff. 3 Noah Punk Foxy Tune. Once per turn, when this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can gain life points equal to that monster's original attack. And then you contribute 1 Punk monster, special on this card from your hand, and then you can send this card from your hand to the field of the graveyard. This is the important effect. Send 1 card from your hand to the graveyard, and if you do, special summon 1 Punk monster from your deck, except a level 8 monster. So because we're playing another deck in this card, Shirakusai, this card is also a starter. You can also send Therions in your hand to the graveyard for more Therion plays if any of your Punk stuff gets interrupted. So all in all, really nice card. And speaking of Shirakusai, here it is, Yukio Punk Shirakusai. Pay 600 life points to fusion summon a Punk fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field as material. And then during your opponent's turn, quick effect, you can pay 600 life points immediately after this effect resolves. Synchro summon 1 Punk Synchro monster using monsters you control as material. So this is great. You can Zeaman. So the general combo is Zeaman search Foxy Tune, send itself and another monster card in hand. Summon Shirakusai. It's using itself and Zeaman into Rising Carp. Then Rising Carp tribute summon a Zeaman and Deernote to make a Synchro 8, and then the Deernote targets the Shirakusai to summon back, so that during your opponent's turn you can make Amazing Dragon on your opponent's turn to bounce their monsters. We'll get to more about the extra deck monsters in their ado, but first, let's get to Noah Punk Ogre Dance. Once per turn, and your opponent activates a monster effect, quick effect, you can make this card gain attack equal to that opponent's monster's original attack until the end of the turn. And then you contribute 1 Punk monster, special summon this card from your hand, and then you can send this card from your hand or the field to the graveyard, add 1 Punk monster from your deck to your hand except a level 8 monster. It's basically just more copies of Zeaman, but also has occasional use for getting high attack points and pushing through boards with its special summon ability. It's also dark, so you can grab it off Chaos Ruler, which we're playing. So, no Punk spell traps in this deck. We're really only using Punk as an engine to get to the good stuff, which is the Therions. So we're playing, first off, a copy of Therion Reaper Thumb. So all of the Therions can target either a Therion monster or a monster of their type. Reaper has Aqua to special summon themselves. Then they all have an effect. Reapers being during your opponent's turn, quick effect, you can target a Therion card in your spell trap zone, and a card your opponent controls, return them to the hand. And then all Therions give a Therion that it is equipped to their effect. So if, let's say, a Lily had a Reaper equipped, the Lily could also use the Reaper's effect. So keep that in mind. Speaking of Lily, 3 Lily Borea. So this is a plant, so it has a Therion or plant equipped to special summon ability. And then you can send 1 card from your hand or field to the graveyard, add 1 Therion spell trap from your deck to your hand. There's a few in this deck, so keep that in mind. 3 Therion King Regulus. You can so this is a machine, so it can either target a Therion or a machine in grave. And then when your opponent activates a card or effect, you can send a Therion monster card from your hand or face-up field to the graveyard, negate that effect. There's a Therion Duke Yol. You can target 1 Therion monster or psychic monster to special summon it. So this is the psychic one. And then while you control an equipped card, Therion monsters you control cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. And then finally, there is Therion Bull Ein. Playing one of that. This is a warrior Therion, so equips warriors or Therion. You can target 1 Therion card you control, 1 card your opponent controls, destroy them. And keep in mind that since they all give the equipped monster its effects, having a lot of names in grave gives you basically a big toolbox of Therions to play with, which is why strategies that get cards into the graveyard work really well with this. So we're also playing 3 Endless Engine Argiro System. While not technically a Therion card by name, it's definitely part of the archetype. Send 1 Therion card from your deck to the graveyard, and then if this card is in your graveyard, you can target 1 Therion card in your graveyard. If both are still in your graveyard, add either that card or this card to your hand, and if you do, place the other on the bottom of your deck. You can only use one of those effects per turn, only once per turn. So if you send a card from your deck to your graveyard, you cannot use the other effect. This card is played at 3. It's an amazing mill. It's an amazing card to open. Just awesome card. Therion Charge. Send a Therion card, except Therion Charge or Endless Engine Argiro System from your hand and your face-up spell and trap zone to the graveyard to draw 2 cards. It's a nice search if you don't have really anything else good to search. Drawing 2 cards is always sweet, and you're going through a lot of your pieces of the engine through your combo, so you'll be thinning out for better good cards. And then we've also got Therion Disc Coliseum. When this card is activated, you can add a Therion monster from your deck to your hand. Once per turn, if your monster to be destroyed in battle, you can send 1 Therion card or 1 Endless Engine Argiro System from your deck to the graveyard instead. And then once per turn, when a monster, either yours or your opponent's, is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can target a Therion monster in your graveyard, add it to your hand. So this is more consistency, it's more copies of Lily or Regulus or whatever else you need, and also is great follow-up, it's battle protection, it adds from the graveyard to the hand. It's everything you could ever want, and which is why we're playing 3. And then finally, a Therion Cross. When your opponent activates a monster effect while you control a Therion monster, you can activate one of these effects, either negate the effect or banish that monster, or if you have Endless Engine Argiro System in your graveyard and activation, you can activate both effects, at resolution, negate, then banish. So this is a great end piece to search if you've already got Therion Disc Coliseum in rotation. That does it for the Therion engine. First off, I'd like to note that we're playing 2 Emergency Teleport. This can summon Zeaman, which is really good. So it's 2 more starters, and this one doesn't use your normal summon. It can also, on the opponent's turn, summon Shirakusai if you have, like, let's say, a spare Lily or a spare, really any spare level 8 on field. You can summon Shirakusai during your opponent's turn, and then Shirakusai quick synchro into Amazing Dragon for an interruption. And of course, it can also summon Cyframe Gear Gamma as a level 2 tuner that can go into certain synchro monsters we're playing. Speaking of which, here are the staples. 2 Gamma, again, has really great emergency teleports synergy, also is light, so we can add it off Chaos Ruler, and is really good in this meta because it disrupts the Sprite normal summon, leaving them with no bodies on field. 1 Ghost Ogre, this is searchable, so which is why we're only playing 1, but also not bad to draw, and is also a Chaos Ruler target. 3 Maxi, 3 Ash, we know what those are there for, and then 2 Called By. That does it for the main deck lineup. We're also playing the driver for the Gamma. Now for the extra deck, Yukio Punk Rising Carp, 2 Punk monsters. So you fusion summon this with Shirakusai. You contribute this fusion summon card, special summon up to 2 Punk monsters with different names from each other from your hand or your deck, except level 8 monsters in defense position, so it tributes to summon Zeaman and Deer Note. And then, if you sync or summon using this card as material, you can target 1 Punk monster you control. It can make a second attack during each battle phase this turn. That doesn't come up a whole lot, but it is worth noting that you can summon this back out with Deer Note to make this available for like a synchro summon. Next up, we've got Chaos Ruler. This card is extremely important to the deck. generic Synchro 8. If this card is Synchro summoned, you can excavate the top 5 cards of your deck, and if you do, you can add 1 excavated light or dark monster to your hand, also send the remaining cards to the graveyard, and you can banish 1 light and 1 dark monster from your hand and or graveyard, except this card, especially summon this card from the graveyard, but banish when it leaves the field. So, it's great follow-up, it's a way to put Therions into your graveyard, so like, if you can't play with like Therion cards with your hand already, this is what you make so that you can go ahead and get your Therion engine rolling. If you can already get your Therion engine rolling without Chaos Ruler, then you Synchro Summon into Punk, Jam, Dragon, Drive. This card is special summoned by the effect of a Punk card, or Synchro Summoned. You can pay 600 life points, take 1 level 3 Psychic monster for your deck, and either add it to your hand or send it to the graveyard. Usually the search target is a Ghost Ogre, because it's a Psychic. And if your opponent activates a card or effect in response to your Punk of card or effect activation while this card is in your graveyard, you can special summon this card. So again, really nice. If you already have good Therion cards, you don't need to go into Chaos Ruler to play. You can go into Punk, Jam, Dragon, Drive. Bone Defer, generic Synchro 10. You can go through it either through like a Zeyaman or one of the level 7 Therions, or you can E-tally it with a level 8, either a Chaos Ruler or a level 8 Therion. You can E-tally Gamma out. Shengying, same thing. Yu-Gi-Oh! Punk Amazing Dragon. We'll go ahead and read this one. If this card is Synchro Summon, you can target cards your opponent controls up to the number of level 3 Psychic monsters with different names you control enter in your graveyard or turn them to the hand. So it can be anywhere from 1 to 3 bounces, depending on if you've gone through Ghost Ogre and if you've gone through the main combo and whatever. And then you can target 1 Punk monster in your graveyard except itself, special summon it. You can only use 1 Yu-Gi-Oh! Punk Amazing Dragon effect per turn and only once per turn that turn. And then Psychic and Punisher, it's a generic Synchro 11. While your life points are less than or equal to your opponent's, this Synchro Summon card is unaffected by your opponent's activated effects. Once per turn, you can pay 1,000 life points and target 1 monster you control, 1 card your opponent controls, banish them. At the start of the battle phase, you can make this card gain attack equal to the difference in your life points and your opponent's. So, this card is a really good game finisher. You're never really going for this turn 1, but in a simplified game state, this is a great way to close out a game. Your opponent will often have no answer to this in the late game, so really nice to see. Melee of the Trees, a rank 3 with Earth monsters, which Zeyaman and Shirakusai are. Once per turn, you can detach 1 Xyz material from this card, then activate one of his effects, send a plant-type monster from your deck to the graveyard, or target 1 plant-type monster in your graveyard, especially when that target in defense position. So it comes up in niche cases where you need to either send a Lily to the graveyard or special summon a Lily from the graveyard. Get your Therion stuff going. A number 38 Hope Harbinger. You can make a rank 8 pretty easily in this deck, so it's there if you need it. The Zombie Vampire. This card basically reads both players mill 4, and then you can special summon a monster milled through this effect to the field. It's another way. It's mill 9 if you don't want to go for a Shirakusai to make Amazing Dragon on your opponent's turn play, you can also do the Zombie Vampire to, you can also use Deer Note to summon back Foxy Tune, and then overlay it with Chaos Ruler to make the Zombie Vampire to mill 4 more cards. We have Pain Gainer into 7 Sins. This is a way to get more materials for Zeus, and also 7 Sins is just generally a pretty good monster on its own right. Zeus, and then Unicorn and Axis Code Talker as staple Link monsters. Now that we've done the card by card, let's play some games. We'll play 2 games, one in which I win that I commentate over, and one in which I lose that I commentate over. The game is afoot. It's time to duel. We're on our first game, and this shows what the deck can put up on turn 1. We move to main phase and activate Ogre Dance, pitching itself to search Zeyaman from deck. We then normal summon the Zeyaman, then Zeyaman effect, using its effect to search Foxy Tune. We then use Foxy Tune effect, pitching itself and the emergency teleport in hand to special summon Shirakusai, then Shirakusai effect, using itself and Zeyaman into Rising Carp. We then use Rising Carp's effect, tributing itself to summon Zeyaman and Deer Note from deck. This hand doesn't need Chaos Ruler, so we synchro them off for Jam Dragon Drive, Chainlink 1, Jam Dragon Drive to search, Chainlink 2, Deer Note, targeting Shirakusai, then Chainlink 3 is a chain block to give Jam Dragon Drive some extra attack points. It all resolves. Deer Note summons back the Shirakusai, and then we search the Ghost Ogre with Jam Dragon Drive. We then activate Endless Engine to dump Lily Borea, then use Regulus effect to equip Lily and summon. Lily effect inherited by Regulus sends Lily to search Therion Disc Coliseum, then we activate Therion Disc Coliseum to search Therion Reaper Thumb. Therion Reaper Thumb we activate to equip Lily, special summon in defense, then equip. we'd go ahead and pass turn to our opponent. This is an Omni negate, a bounce with Reaper to get back Lily for more follow-up, a Shoku Sando Amazing Dragon for more bounces, and a Ghost Ogre we searched. They activate Desires after they draw, and we reveal the last unknown to be Max C before they can get 2 more chances to find it out. It resolves, they draw 2, and then they proceed to normal summon Jowgen. They activate Pot of Duality, and I go ahead and chain Therion Reaper to target Lily and Jowgen the Spiritualist before they get the opportunity to use Jowgen to try to wipe my board. They Duality for Extravagance, Desires, and Desires, which has to be the worst duality of all time, and they concede. So the deck has great power, but how does it lose? We're going second, and our opponent starts us off with Dimension Shifter. Yeah, that's probably how it loses. They then normal summon Elise, set 1, and pass. Huh. We draw Ogre Dance for turn, which is pretty mediocre, but we go ahead and summon normal Zeaman, and then we head straight to battle to get rid of the Elise, to which they activate Armament to summon Mikalis with the Ellis. In main phase 2, we go ahead and use Zeaman to search Foxy Tune, and then we go ahead and pass turn, not bothering to set cross because we know Mikalis would banish it anyway. And end step, they use Mikalis effect to banish Zeaman, and then draw for turn. Our opponent draws. Then it uses Mikalis to search Pax. They then activate Pax, going ahead and searching Exosister Martha. They then use Exosister Martha, and I go ahead and chain Ash Blossom to stop them from using that amazing effect that it has. It resolves, and Martha is negated. They then normal summon... Well, actually, no. First, they use Triple Tactics Talent to draw 2, which, like... Yeah, how dare I play the game, you know? They then normal summon Stella, then use Stella to special the Martha in hand before overlaying into Caspatel. They use Caspatel to search another Martha for follow-up. And then they go into battle to do a lot of damage before overlaying into Exosister's Magnifica and passing. But not before they set a card. I really need something crazy here, and well, unless they activate Magnifica for some reason as a Foxy Tune, that won't be something crazy. I do just that, and of course they don't do anything. I summon Deer Note, and to that they use Magnifica to banish. I normal summon Zeaman and use the effect to search, to which they chain Magnifica. On resolution, summoning Mikalis, before I go ahead and search Ogre Dance. I summon Ogre Dance by tributing Zeaman, then I use Zeaman's effect in Graveyard to give Ogre Dance attack, but as we move to battle, it's obviously getting banished by Mikalis. We chain Ogre Dance because it's funny, but on resolution regardless, Mikalis banishes them, and we go ahead and pass turn. Our opponent draws, and really we have to hope we can block with Gamma to stay alive another turn. And as they use their set Exosister Vanus to summon Sophia and Irene and use Mikalis to search a spell trap, I see a chance to maybe cling to live. We chain Gamma, and then they chain Ghost Spell. So the chain resolves, and Gamma does get negated. Although Gamma isn't once per turn, they know what's up, and they waste no time moving to battle phase and finishing me off after searching Exosister Returnia. We're back, and yeah, this deck is consistent, powerful, and fun. All things you look for in a Yu-Gi-Oh deck. We've done our investigation, now let's get into the closing argument. Verdicts are the same as usual. Going by predicted expected ranking, Law-Abiding Nursing Home Resident is below Platinum, Harmless Delinquent is Platinum, Lone Wolf is low Diamond, while Public Enemy number 1 is Diamond 1. Now, for Judgment, Punk Therion. There's reasons this deck rocks. It's really consistent. With 11 starters to mill at least 5, it's very rare you don't end it on a Gate plus Amazing Dragon on the opponent's turn, and you can get up to an Omni, a Monster Negator Banish, Amazing Dragon, another Monster Bounce with Reaper, and a Search Ghost Ogre. 2, with all the Scythe blocking going around, it's nice to have a deck that has the powerful combo inboards while also being able to play through Scythe with the Therion engine. Even the Punk cards can help you put big bodies on the board to go monster hunting. And finally, this deck has insane follow-up. This Colosseum and R0 system to make the Therion engine near impossible to stop once it gets going. She wasn't lying. That engine really do be endless. However, there are blues that keep this deck banned from going platinum. It doesn't play a lot of going second cards. Outside of the usual Max C stuff and good mills off Chaos Ruler, most of this deck is gas, and although the Therions can do some good pushing going second, that's hard to set up while getting interrupted. 2, while Chaos Ruler can mill crazy, it can also mill bad. This deck has lines that you kinda just need to hope you can hit certain cards with the mill 5, and sometimes that just doesn't happen. And finally, while this deck is consistent, when it bricks hard. Sometimes you open 4 Therions and a Gamma and you just have to cry about it. In summary, this deck is a versatile and fun machine, but it may at times make you rage against it. London may not be calling, but a lone wolf verdict sure is. Thank you for watching. If you would like more guidance on how to make this deck work from people who have played the deck more than me, I highly recommend the Punk or Therion Discord server and the R Yu-Gi-Oh! Archetype repository, or the Punk or Therion channel and the Master Duel Meta Discord server. If you like this video, consider liking and subscribing to me. Also comment below what you liked, what you think needs improvement, or tell me my list was garbage. Also, check me out on Twitter, where I follow other VTubers and Yu-Gi-Oh! Content, as well as post updates and my thoughts, and Twitch, where I stream Master Duel rank climbs, other Master Duel Yu-Gi-Oh! Related content, and other games. Also, if you would like to discuss my content or Yu-Gi-Oh! In general with other like-minded people, consider joining my Discord, linked in the description. Thank you, and have a good day.